Hello everyone. Hi, how are you? Cheryl here with cardsbycheryl.com. Thanks so much for stopping by my YouTube channel today. I hope you're all doing well. Today is Friday, February the 28th, so the last day of the month, and we are moving quickly into spring, with tomorrow being March 1st. So I wanted to, speaking of spring, I wanted to share with you today some alternate card designs from the Hello Spring Paper Pumpkin Kit. It's the February 2025 kit that just came out. I actually have had it for about a week now, and I've made a ton of cards with it. I really enjoyed this kit, and I wanted to just take a minute to show you some alternate designs and maybe make a card or two with you if you feel like hanging out with me to do that. So let me put you down to my desktop. There. And I'm not going to do an unboxing just because that there's a gajillion unboxing videos out there. What I am going to talk to you about a little bit is my paper pumpkin storage. So this is my paper pumpkin kit from this month, and it's in a stamp case. Stampin' Up! Sends an email to all their subscribers every month, and in that email is a link to a printable case insert, just like this. So I print two of these, one for the case and then one for my binder that I keep on hand. Let me show you that real fast too. This is just my kit binder, so it's primarily paper pumpkin. It's not too big, so it fits nicely on my shelf. And this basically, I use 8.5 by 11 protector sheets. And so I print out the stamp case cover and I load it into each month. So you can see, I can get you in view a little bit better. So I can quickly go through my all my past paper pumpkin kits, and it makes it really easy to identify certain stamps that I might want to use again later in the year. There's so many great things about these paper pumpkin kits, and I don't know how other people store their kits, but if you don't have access to quickly look at what was in each kit each month, it either takes a lot of extra work to go digging through your stash and open up boxes or open up whatever it is that you have that you're storing your stuff in to find what you're looking for. So this binder is just a really easy way to flip through and go, oh yeah, I really wanted that thank you sentiment. Or, you know, the holiday ones are great because you can reuse the holiday sentiments year after year after year. So it's just a really great way to keep track of what you have. It's pretty simple. It doesn't take a lot of time to do. You're basically just printing out a document and then storing it in a page protector sheet in a binder. So I review mine often, not just when I'm doing paper pumpkins, but if I'm just looking for some ideas of different sentiments to use or whatever, I go through that binder quite a bit. So I find that super helpful. I store it and then I store all my leftover parts and pieces in these stamp cases. And then, and surprisingly, I go back to these quite often. Just to pull out, and I think, oh, there were some envelopes or some pattern paper from a kit that I remember, and I'll go through my binder and I think, yep, it's the August 2022 kit or something like that. And so I will go to I have some shelving over here, and I have the clear container buckets. Can I grab one? Yeah. So this is my current bucket right here that I just keep on my shelf, and I just flip through. They're all in order. And it's just a super easy way to, and so the sentiments on the kit are on the back. It's just a super easy way to store your parts and pieces, and then also have easy access to them in the future when you want to use them again. So the beauty, what I like to say, the beauty about paper pumpkin is it really helps to establish an inventory for you slowly and economically. Because like if you subscribe to paper pumpkin and you get one kit a month, after a few years, you've got 24 different stamp sets in your stash that you can use for different things. So I'm a huge proponent of paper pumpkin subscription. I love getting it in the mail every month. I'm tapping my fingers around the 20th going, where is it? Where is it? Why isn't it here yet? And then I have also a monthly meeting with some friends and customers that we get together and we Zoom online in the evening and craft the kit. And I usually share my alternative designs with them, and we can just play around. It's a lot of fun. So I do that every month. We did that last night, actually. We crafted this kit, and I thought, well, I need to probably do a video and show you guys the alternative designs that I came up with. So gosh, doing a lot of talking. Oh, one more thing about Paper Pumpkin. They are converting it from a standalone Paper Pumpkin platform. Right now, to manage your subscription, you have to go to paperpumpkin.com. Starting March the 11th, so just in 11 days from now, it is switching over to the Stampin' Up! Platform. So you everything for Paper Pumpkin is going to be accessed through your StampinUp.com account. If you don't have a StampinUp.com account, let's just say you just subscribe to Paper Pumpkin, but you don't have maybe you don't buy anything from Stampin' Up, so you don't have a Stampin' Up account, you're going to have to create one, which is not a big deal. You basically just have to put in your contact information with an email address. But they need something to port over your subscription to. So what that means is what you'll do is if you do not have a StampinUp.com login, in other words, you go to StampinUp.com and you don't know how to get in there, you're going to have to create a login. So you create a new account. And then once you get in there, you would click on Manage Subscriptions. And I can do a different tutorial on this later on. But you would just click on Manage Subscriptions and your subscription should show up in there. And you'll just have to click a little button that says Claim Subscription. And it ties it together so that you have everything all in one place now. If you already have a StampinUp.com account and a Paper Pumpkin subscription, you pretty much don't have to do anything. It's going to port over. So more on that later. It's a pretty big technology change. And so, just brace yourself for maybe a couple hiccups along the way. Shipping and billing there might be some kinks to iron out in that department. So just please be patient. It is a pretty big change when you're porting from one independent platform and moving it into an existing platform. It's kind of a big deal. So have some patience with us with Stampin' Up because they're trying really hard to just make it easy for us in the end. So, okay, so that's my spiel about that. If you guys have any questions about the Paper Pumpkin subscription porting over to Stampin' Up, just shoot me an email, let me know. You can get me at Cheryl@cardsbycheryl.com or you can drop me a comment below in this video and I'll answer everybody's comments too. So, okay, now that that's out of the way, let's jump into this kit. Let me show you the alternative. So like I said, I'm not going to do an unboxing, but this kit does come with all the supplies to make 9 cards, 3 of each design, and it's got some really cool envelopes that are landscape, I guess, envelopes. So they open on the side as opposed to the top. So those are kind of fun. Some really pretty colors. We've got Lost Lagoon, Basic Beige, and I think that's Old Olive or Mossy Meadow. It tells you, this is the instruction sheet that you get with each kit, and it looks like it's Basic Beige, Bubble Bath, Lemon Lime Twist, Lost Lagoon, Old Olive, Petunia Pop, and then Bronze. And I think the bronze is just the accenting that's on the Basic Beige and the Lost Lagoon cardstock. So you don't hear us talk about bronze very often, so I was kind of surprised to see that. Okay, so that being said, let me show you some of the cards that I've created. I told you there's a pile of them here. So this is the one that's my favorite. This is called the Dutch Door design, and it opens like this. And I made this an Easter card using all the components of the kit, including the envelope base. So we'll talk about that in a second. So I think this is the card we're going to make today, and maybe jazz it up a little bit differently too. This is a card that followed pretty much the included design, except for I didn't care for the card design has pink in it, and I don't know, it didn't do anything for me. So I switched it up. I thought the green was pretty bold, and so I muted it down with a layer of vellum and added the greenery pieces as normal. And then instead of pink, I flipped it over and used the backside, which was white, and put To a Wonderful Friend. So, and I didn't finish the inside yet. So there's one alternate. Another one is this one here, which is pretty simple. Let's see, which one did I? It's basically a version of this card, only I turned it landscape, and I used the longer panel here, added some greenery to poke out the side with a different sentiment. This sentiment came from the Textured Notes stamp set, which I'm going to do a video on later this week and tell you all about that because that's a really great suite that's coming out March the 4th. But anyway, so this is just a soft, subtle, I really like just the softness of this card. I think it's very pretty. So, and a perfect thank you card. This would also be nice as a sympathy card or just a note maybe, or thinking of you. Here's another one. One of the things that I try to do for my monthly Zoom meetings when I do Paper Pumpkin is to not deviate too far from the pieces of the kit when I create the cards. So there's a lot of demonstrators that really use all of their supplies to make a beautiful alternate design. But it's frustrating for some of the gals on my team that don't have all the same supplies that I do. So when I create alternate designs, I really try to use the pieces that are in the kit. And I bring that up because, for example, this piece of Petunia Pop cardstock is handmade because I had a feeling that a lot of people weren't going to have the Petunia Pop, and I preferred the Petunia Pop over the pink that they put in there, which I think is Bubble Bath. And so I thought, shoot, how am I going to get Petunia Pop cardstock without making everybody go buy a big pack of cardstock? So I just took a little white strip and I took my ink spot that came in the kit and I rubbed it over it and let it dry, and it became a beautiful piece of Petunia Pop that I just trimmed up and used as a complementary layer. So super easy to make homemade cardstock pieces in little bits. I mean, you wouldn't want to make a whole sheet of it, but for accent pieces, it worked out really nice. And then I did add some embellishments that are new embellishments that I knew nobody would have because they're pre-order right now for demonstrators. But I basically gave suggestions of some different embellishments that they could add if they wanted to from their stash. And I also encouraged them to go back to their prior paper pumpkin kits and pull out like these white embellishments here, I think came from the February kit last year. So if you didn't use all your embellishments from your last year's kit, you can pull them out and use them again. That kind of thing. So this is card number 2. That's another version. Here's one that I used vellum and I layered, or I embossed the vellum. And this is called the Perfectly Plaid Embossing Folder, which is still, which is available right now in the store. I love it. It's a big folder. Let's see, did I put it away? I had it out and now it's gone. Let's see. Oh no, here it is. So it's a large embossing folder. Look, I can hardly get it in the screen. So if this is the size of your card, it almost fits. So it would be great if you make larger cards, like 5x7s. So you could fit 2 pieces, 2 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 pieces of layering cardstock in one, and do it in one fell swoop in this size embossing folder. So this, I believe, is $12 currently, and it's called the Forever Plaid embossing 3D embossing folder. Okay, so this is the layer I did. I do cut up my cardstock pieces that come in the kit and apply them to white card bases just because I like to maximize all of the paper in the kit that I can. So this was cut up the blue Lost Lagoon card base, cut and then applied to a white card base. And then I added these different layers. So I cut up some of the basic beige, and then I die cut from the blue piece, this little circle. And if you guys haven't seen the circle dies yet from, let's see, Spotlight on Nature, I think, you have to get these. I'm not kidding. They are, it's just like the most basic, they're not basic, they're beautiful. They make the most beautiful circle embellishment pieces for your cards, and they're great sizes, and there's so many of them. It's like, I would say this would be a staple in your kit. If you just wanted to not buy the Spotlight on Nature bundle and just get the dies, they're available right now. While we're talking about that, this is another set of dies that is coming out March the 4th. These are called textured note dies, and they're rectangles. So for those of you that are avid Stampin' Up! Followers, you know that we didn't have any current rectangles in inventory for demonstrators to use. They had retired the last set of rectangle shapes, and so now we have a new set. And these are really awesome too because they're very patterned, and they produce some really beautiful rectangles to use on your cards for layering. So that's another standalone die set that you could get if you didn't want to buy the bundle, you just wanted the dies. They're, shoot, I can't remember how much they are, but I'll try to look them up real quick before we go. Okay, so those, I just wanted to talk about those 2 sets of dies really fast because that circle die was used to create the circle in this card. And then I used for the extra pieces of chives here. There's every quarter, Stampin' Up! Produces a die set that is good for 3 kits, 3 months of kits. So this is the January, February, March die set, and it's called Spring is in the Air dies. And you can get them, I think they're $12, and you can order them as a standalone addition to your Paper Pumpkin kit. You order them through StampinUp.com. And so the heart die coordinated with the January kit, the Valentine's Day kit. This little chive is what this piece is right here. And so that coordinates with the February kit. And then this little beehive and the bee is going to coordinate with the March kit. So I'm super excited about that. By the way, if you haven't committed to the March kit yet, you should. It's the anniversary month for Paper Pumpkin in March. And so every March they usually do something pretty spectacular. And they always throw in a second stamp set. So instead of one stamp set, you'll get 2 in the kit. And it's usually pretty well done. So this add-on die coordinates with the March kit. And I believe they're still available. So you can hop on and order this before your March kit comes, and you have this cute little honeycomb and the bees. And of course the hearts are, you could use any time of year. Now, there is a die that I lost last night during our Zoom. I have like torn my desk apart looking for it, and it's nowhere to be found. So it cuts out the little chive flowers. So it's just a little tiny die. It's round and of course super easy to lose, but I can't find it. So I'm gonna have to fussy cut those 2 when we do. But that's a die that came with the set also. Okay, and then the twine comes with the kit also, so I just used that. and I didn't do the inside. So that's another alternate. Last one I have to show you is this one where I just tried to use I just trying to kind of collage it together. So I cut panels of 3 different cardstocks to make a striped background. This is the homemade Petunia Pop Pink that I used. And I didn't put an extra layer on this. I just stamped the chives flowers onto this panel and then used the stamp Hello Spring from the kit. So this is 100% pieces from the kit with the exception of this pink pop that is homemade cardstock that I made. And then I just used, because I had some extra strips, I just cut 3 little strips to coordinate for the inside. So cute little card. Okay, so those are my alternatives. Here's another Happy Easter one that I made. This is the first Dutch door card that I did. This Happy Easter sentiment came from the Sweet Springtime February 2024 kit. So remember I said it's just, you could, if you're going to make some Easter cards out of this kit, you could grab the bunny or the little baby chick and stamp that on the inside for some decoration on the inside of your cards. But I really like the springtime greetings and I like the Happy Easter. So I used the Happy Easter on this card sentiment right there. And I think I did springtime greetings. Yeah, I used springtime greetings on this one also. And so that's from last year's spring kit sentiment set. Okay, let's make a card, shall we? Let me put all this stuff aside. And so we're going to do a version of this, but I think we're going to use the blue, the Lost Lagoon. It doesn't look, Lost Lagoon is I think, it's like a tealy color. This feels like ocean mist color to me, but it's a very light Lost Lagoon color. But for these 2 cards, you choose whichever colors from your kit that you want to use for your base. I'm going to walk you through how to actually do the cutting for the Dutch door. Super simple. And then I'm going to talk to you about White Willow, because the white of the paper pumpkin kits is different color white than basic white that we get in our basic white cardstock. It's just got a little bit of a warmer tone to it than the paper pumpkin kit white is, a little cooler white. And so what I found is the White Willow cardstock, and this is a carryover from Close to My Heart. So White Willow is the basic white that Close to My Heart used to use. And so when Stampin' Up! Bought Close to My Heart, we also, I think, bought the rights to this White Willow. So it comes in 12 by 12 sheets because it was intended to be used for scrapbooking. So you can't get it in 8.5 by 11. But what I do is I pre-cut it. I take a bunch of sheets and I cut it down to 4 by 6 panels. And that makes it really easy to use for my card inserts when I'm layering. So let me just show you an example of the difference. So if you take, here's one of the card bases from the kit. If you take this and you want to layer on the inside, it's actually pretty nice. It matches pretty well. But if you take basic white, which is this right here, it looks yellowy, more yellowy than the White Willow. So I don't know if you can see the difference by doing that. Yeah, so it's quite a dramatic difference for me. So I keep a stack of White Willow just for when I'm doing paper pumpkins. I'd use basic white for everything else, but when I'm doing paper pumpkins, I use White Willow for all of the different layers that I add, like that. Okay. That being said, I do use basic white cardstock for the card bases that I'm doing. The White Willow is, I don't know what the weight of it is, but it's not quite as heavy as a basic white cardstock, which is why I use that. So, okay, let's get started. I'm going to bring in my trimmer, and I pre-cut a bunch of basic white. I just cut them in half. So I have a stack at my fingertips of basic white panels that I use this stack for layers. I use it for card bases. I just score them, whatever. But it's nice to just have a stack handy that's pre-cut if you're making a lot of cards like I do. Okay, so what we're going to do first is we're going to score this. So this is 8.5 by 5.5, and we're going to score it at 4.25. Okay, we're going to use the gray scoring blade. This is the cutting blade. So you want to score it, and so now you have your score line. So now what we're going to do is we're going to, so this is if we folded it, don't fold it yet, but if you folded it, this would be the front of your card. So we're going to cut out this section here. And in order to do that, you're going to line it up. The score line is going to be right in the center, and that should be right at 4.25 on your trimmer right here. So we're going to cut down the halfway line between here and here, and this is 5.5. So half of 5.5 is 2.5 plus a quarter, 2 3/4. So we are going to trim down to 2 3/4, and you can look over here. Maybe I can zoom in a little bit. So you can see on your trimmer, the 2 3/4 mark is right here. So we're going to cut, and there's a little dash on your trimmer right here that indicates how far you've come. So you're going to line up, you're going to come down to 2 3/4 until this little dash on your trimmer gets to that length right there. I don't know if you can see. Okay, so there's halfway through. So you've made that cut like that, just like that. Now you're going to shift it, and you're going to put it over to 2 3/4, and you're going to cut down to where you just cut here. So that should be at 4 1/4. So if you can't see where you cut through here, let's see, I'll make sure I'm at 2 3/4, and then we're going to bring this all the way down to 4 1/4 right there. And oh, I didn't cut all the way down down as far as I should have. There we go. So now you have pieces that look like this. Let's zoom back out a little bit. Okay, so you want to keep this piece because this is going to go to your card. So now your card folds like this, and you'll notice that there's kind of a lip right here on the cardstock that from the cutting blade. And so what I do to get rid of that is I just take my bone folder and I just wipe across it like that, and it totally flattens it out and makes it pretty. And you can do the same thing on this piece here if you have any raised edges from your trimmer. Okay, so here's your card base, here's your Dutch door, and this is the panel that goes on top of it like that. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to cut our panels to decorate. So if you don't want to, I use basic beige for this background here, right here. If you don't want to cut up an envelope, you can invest in some basic beige cardstock, which is what I have. And I'm actually going to use my cardstock instead of cutting up another envelope. But, well, actually, I should show you how to cut the envelope. So let's do that. So we're going to grab our trimmer again. And basically, we're just trimming off all the edges that are folded. Okay, so you're going to line this up on your trimmer. And I just run the paper just to the very edge of the center track and cut. And so you're literally just cutting a shave off to open this up. So turn it over and do the same thing. And then you're gonna, so now you have this, and then cut the bottom off. And so now you have this piece and you have this piece. Now you could use this piece as additional cardstock, pattern paper for your cards if you wanted, but we're going to use the back side. So what we want is a piece that is 5 1/4 by 4. So we're going to line that up at the 5 1/4 mark, rotate it once, and line it up at 4 inches, and trim that down. And you can save these pieces to use them later if you want. I'm going to throw mine away. Okay, so there's the piece that's going to go inside right there. Now we need a piece for here and a piece for here. So I said I was going to use, I was probably going to do the same color layout. So I have an extra piece of the Lost Lagoon that I cut from a prior card project, so I'm going to use that. But if you hadn't cut yours up yet, you'll have to grab one of your card bases and cut it up. And so this piece measures 4 inches by 2.5. And I think this one should be the same too. Yeah, 4 inches by 2.5. So we need a piece 4 by 2.5 of the beige and 4 by 2.5 of the blue. So I'm going to cut that right here, 2.5 by 4. So there's that piece, and then I'm going to break into this cardstock and cut 2.5 by 4. Okay, so this you'll keep and for another project. Same as with this piece here. Okay, so there's that. That's all the cutting so far. Next, let's talk about stamping. Okay, so we've got our components here. The piece I used on this card is from the kit. It's this piece right here. You notice there's no flowers on it, so we need to stamp the flowers on it. And I did 2nd generation stamping. So what that means is I inked up my stamp, I stamped it off, and then when I stamped this panel, I stamped it with the 2nd generation of ink, so it was much lighter than the foreground flower. And I just kind of like that added dimension look. So you can do it full strength if you want the bright pop of the pink, or you can do the 2nd generation. So let's see. I'm going to grab my chive stamp, or the chive floral, stamp and get that mounted. And grab my petunia pop and a piece of scrap. So I, like I said, stamp off. So that's the color that's going to end up on our card or on this panel. So ink it up, stamp off, and then there's a blunt end of your chive right there. That's where one goes, and then there's another blunt end right there, and that's where the other flower goes. So we're going to put this just like that, stamp off, just like that. Okay, that part's done. Now we need to create the second layer of the chives that's popped up. And so for that we need the chive base, which I'm going to put on a block. And that requires Mossy Meadow, or no, Old Olive. That requires Old Olive. And that is full strength. So we need a scrap piece of white, which I just happen to have right here. Going to ink that up. Don't worry about the chives words on here because that's going to get chopped off with the die. Now, if you don't have the die, you could totally hand cut this too. It wouldn't be that hard. I just like how that second layer of flowers looks on it. So I'm going to grab this, put this down. It's pretty easy to line up. Grab some Post-it tape to hold it down and run this through real fast. Oh, you know what? Ha! I just found it. Look, it was stuck to something, and I have a little vertical organizer right here. I just found a die. Yay! I'm so happy. Okay, that makes me very happy. I hate it when I lose parts of a kit. So there's that piece. So now we're going to stamp 2 more chive flowers and die cut those. And I've got to run these through twice, so bear with me here. Actually, I can probably do this without tape. Okay, there's one. I knew it was going to show up somewhere. I just got tired of looking. It's like when you're working on a puzzle. My dad is 87 and doesn't have much to do in the wintertime, and he gets super bored, and so we go through puzzles like crazy. And sometimes you just find yourself searching for that puzzle piece, and you get so frustrated. You're like, and you just walk away. If you just walk away, usually it'll show up the next time, and you're like, oh, there it is. But so that's what I did with my missing die. Okay, let's close those up, get those out of the way, and make sure. I have ruined a couple panels last night because I didn't make sure my hands were not ink free. Okay, so we're going to adhere this just offset. That's kind of how I like to do it. So you don't want to put it right on top. I offset it so that the bottom of the chives is kind of, you can still see the words of chives. So that's about where I'm going to place it. And so I use some regular and mini dimensionals. I put a fat one right down there, and then I use a couple minis, one there and one there, and then on the back of the chives, you can use either size, big or little. So there's that. Take these off, pop these in, just like so. And the darker pink pops out against the darker or the lighter pink on the background. I think looks really cool. Okay, so there's that panel done. So let's set that aside for a second. Now we have to stamp the sentiment, and I'm going to use the, oh, I think I said we were going to try to jazz it up a little bit because I used Happy Easter here, but I think I want to do pink. But before I make that decision, I'm going to put this together and just make sure that's what I want to do. So I'm going to start by gluing down this panel to the inside. And I'm a green glue gal, but you can use tape runner. You can use the glue dots that came, the kit comes with a roll of tear and tape. So you can use that. In fact, the kit comes with actually a pretty big roll of tear and tape and all this twine and a giant roll of adhesives. I don't know. I put mine away because I didn't want to break into them. It was so big. It was like a piece of adhesive this big, or dimensionals. Okay, so that's like that. And then we're going to put the blue panel here. Like that. And we're going to take this panel, put that there. We could have done it backwards, but, well, too late now. I'd love to get your feedback on what you guys think of these alternate card designs. I spend a lot of time coming up with them every month. It's fun. I love to design. So I'd love to hear your feedback. Okay, so in the card design, I have wrapped twine around this panel. So before you put this down, we're going to have to wrap some twine around it, but before we have to put this on. That's so pretty. I just love this so much. So this goes straight down in the center of this panel here, like that. Okay, then we're going to grab the twine. And the twine that comes in the kit is a little softer. It's not quite as thick as the linen thread that you can buy from Stampin' Up. Oh, and I did this wrong. I was supposed to tie it and then put the chives on. So I goofed. Let's see. Can I peel this off without destroying it? I just need to get this bottom sticker off. Okay, I did. So what I did was I just did a little surgery there. I pulled that up. We're going to wrap, I'm going to leave a tail of about, I don't know, 6 inches or so, and slide that in there. I'm going to wrap it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Then I'm going to pull another tail about 6 inches that way and cut this off. And we'll adjust it. Let's get the bow tied, but we will adjust the location of the twine in just a second. So what I do here is I'm going to tie it towards the right end of the panel. And I use my extra tweezers, my third hand retractable reverse tweezers, to hold the bow, the knot, I guess, so you can tie the bow and keep it nice and tight. I can link those below too if you guys don't have one of these, but they're kind of a requirement in my craft room. Okay, so we can trim the ends in a minute, but now I'm just mostly concerned about getting this twine underneath that dimensional. So let's see. Yeah, that's about right. So we're going to move this up a little bit, and I'm going to actually pull this dimensional off and put a fresh one on. Do as I say, not as I do, right? Can I do this without totally mangling it? Not very well. Okay, I got most of it off. So I'm going to use, because I did mangle it pretty good, but I'm going to use 2 minis now and put it right on the edge so that I miss the twine, because you don't want the dimensionals to be setting on top of the twine because that just makes it even more bulky. But I think we're going to be okay. I don't think anyone's going to notice that I had to do surgery. Okay, so there we go. There, can't even tell, right? I'm going to use my tweezers and just kind of bend this down a little bit because when I pulled it up, it kind of curved it. So there's our panel. That's going to go on there. And we need to decide about the sentiment. And I was thinking I wanted to do pink. And I probably have to see if I use that, it covers the bow. I could do it this way and trim it down because we wouldn't need that springtime, the Happy Easter from this kit that I was saying is a vertical, or I'm sorry, a horizontal Happy Easter. And so that might, let's try it. That might work. So I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to also use Petunia Pop. And I'm going to cut this in half first. So I'm just going to use my trimmer and cut this right down the center. And if you line it up, so this is exactly 1 inch wide. So if you line it up at the 1/2 inch mark here, just set it there because it's going to be hard to hold on to. Gently close your door so that the wind of closing it doesn't shift it. Press down real hard right here and just trim. Okay, so now you've got 2 pieces that are cut in half. In case you make a mistake, you've got an extra now. Okay, so my head's going to probably come in to view because I need to get over the top of the stamp to do it right because it's pretty skinny. So ink that up pretty good. Okay, a little crooked, but actually I'm okay with that. I am okay with that. All right, let's see how this looks. We might be going back to the circle, but no, actually I like it. What do you guys think? Let's go in a little bit more. Whoops, not quite that much. I really like that pop of pink. Okay, so now, because we're, so let's put this panel down and let's trim off a little bit of these ends. So the way that I make sure that I put glue only where I want the glue to go, because you don't want glue on any of the back part of this. So I flip it over and I center it where it's supposed to be on the back side. And then I take my glue and I know where to stop with the glue. And I actually dab some glue over the top of that twine too, just to make sure that stays securely down. Flip it over, center it, and press and hold for a minute. Because of the twine and it's a little bit bulkier and you just want to give that glue an extra second or two to adhere. Okay, now you could leave your card just like this. You wouldn't have to have a sentiment on it if you didn't want to. Just saying, that's an option. Hello Spring would work. I really like this Easter. So I'm going to need a dimensional on the back side on the left side of the happy. And I'm going to leave the right side of the Easter undimensionalized because it's going to sit on top of that twine and that will be enough support for it. So I'm going to put glue here and then a couple dimensionals on that side. So right there. Do I need 1 or 2? Actually, I could do a big and a little. I think Easter's not so far away. I think Ash Wednesday's coming up. Soon. Sooner than I thought. Okay. Get those dimensionals down there, make sure it's straight. And I didn't put any glue on this side. You know what? Maybe we do need a little dimensional there. I think we might. So I'm just going to pop this down the bottom edge. Get the bow out of the way. There we go. Yeah, much better. Okay. So we did need a dimensional on that right side as well. Tie that bow. And oh, I froze for a second. That was weird. So here is our card. So now we need, you could leave this plain like that, or I like to put a panel in that shows where you write. And so let me show you the trick of that. And the panel we're going to cut from the white willow again is going to be 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. Is that right? Yeah. 2 3/4. Yeah, by 4 1/4. So I'm going to grab more of that white willow. What did I do with that? Yeah, this piece of work. 4 1/4 by 2 3/4. Okay. And the trick, there we go. The trick to getting this centered perfectly is to lay it down here. So we're going to put glue on the back side, just like that. And then we're going to set it on top of the panel, line it up carefully so that it's matching. And then we're just going to close the door. Easier said than done, right? You might get some glue on your hands. Like that. And then now you have your inside panel. And you could put, what did I do with it? You could put the little baby chick. That would be kind of cute. Or, I don't know, the bunny's too big. Or you could just leave it plain. Or you could actually use those little flowers too. Or you could stamp. We should have done it first before we glued it down, but you could stamp off some chives right here too. But I think that's pretty just the way it is. What else could you do? You could take a little strip. Let's see. Just like a 1/4-inch strip of the Lost Lagoon panel. And put it right there. We'd have to cut it to size. What did I say? That was 2 3/4? Yeah. So you could put it down here. Kind of like it down here. Yeah, I like it down here. So we'll just put a little piece of trim in there. Just a little something. Okay. There is our card. If you wanted to decorate this side, you could. That's going to make this pretty heavy, but this is our really pretty, adorable Dutch door Easter card. Here's the round version. Get rid of my mess here. So let me bring back all the other cards for you to look at. Those are kind of the same. Here, zoom out a little bit. We have this one. Can you tell I really liked the blue? I really liked the blue. Didn't like the green so much. Here's another. I like the green on this card with the Happy Easter. So yeah, I've got some great Easter cards ready to go out. So I think that's going to be it for me. I've talked a lot. I don't even know how long I've been live right now. 52 minutes. Yeah, that's a long time. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed my alternate designs for the paper pumpkin kit for February 2025. It still feels weird for me to say 2025. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll link some links below to the products, extra products I discussed for you. Don't forget, there's a new product launch March the 4th coming. So stay tuned. Go check that out. If you're part of my email subscriber list, I'll be sending you an update to remind you to go check it out. And if you enjoyed this video, I'd love for you to hit that like button and leave me a comment and let me know what you thought. All right, guys, that's it for me. I will see you in the next one. I hope you have a great weekend. Bye.